three. 1, 2, 3. May I have your attention, please? Please, may I have your attention? Fine. Please remove them immediately. If you place signs on the church grounds, please remove them immediately. Thank you. No, no, no. I can just sit it up here. I'm just going to read. Good evening, everyone. We're going to ask everyone to kind of settle yourselves and get ready for our forum. Thank you. Welcome to this candidate forum hosted by the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Prince George's County chapter. I'm Rosa Page, the Public Policy Chair. This forum is in collaboration with Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Iota Gamma Omega chapter, the Ivy Community Charities of Prince George's County, NAACP Prince George's County, and the South County Economic Development Association, known as CEDA. We are nonpartisan organizations, and all candidates are given equal standing. I would like to ask all current and former public servants to stand and be recognized. Thank you, thank you. just read a disclaimer? Actually, I have two that I have to read. One is from NCBW. I'll start with that one. This is the National Coalition of 100 Black Women Incorporated and Affiliates disclaimer. Unless otherwise indicated, the contents of this forum is property of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women Incorporated, NCBW Inc., Prince George's County, Maryland chapter. All source code, databases, functionality, software, website designs, audio, visual, text, photographs, AI, and graphics presented at this forum collectively referred to as the content, as well as the trademarks, service marks, and logos. The logo contained therein are owned and controlled by NCBW Incorporated, Prince George's County chapter for this forum. These materials are protected by copyright, trademark laws, and various other intellectual property rights, including unfair competition laws of the United States, foreign jurisdictions, and international conventions. Please refrain from taking pictures or recording during this forum. The opinions expressed by program participants do not reflect the views of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women Incorporated, NCBW Inc., Prince George's County chapter, or their respective affiliates during this forum. Opinions may have been previously disseminated by the participants, but are based on information they claim to be reliable. However, neither NCBW Inc., Prince George's County chapter, nor its affiliates guarantee the complete accuracy of this information, and it should not be relied upon as such. Now I'll read the disclaimer for our Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Iota Gamma Omega chapter, and it clearly states Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Iota Gamma Omega chapter, and the Ivy Community Charities of Prince George's County Incorporated are nonpartisan organizations and do not endorse any candidates. We hope this forum provides the community with an opportunity to get to know the candidates. We have two moderators, Mrs. Titi Lopez Oladipo and Ms. Taylor Thomas. At this time, I invite Ms. Oladipo to moderate our first segment.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everybody's having a lovely day. Okay, my name is Titi Oladipo. I am a senior student attending Bowie State University. Thank you for coming to this forum. I will be the moderator for the candidates running for office of sheriff for the Prince George's County, Maryland, Mr. John Carr and Mr. Ronald Oliver for the evening. We will be flipping a coin regarding who will receive the first question. Heads will be Mr. Carr, tails will be Mr. Oliver. Each candidate will have a minute to respond to each question. We may take questions from the audience depending on time. Each audience participant will have 30 seconds to ask a question. Announcing Dr. Shaquille to do the coin toss. Okay, we have tails. So, we will have each candidate introduce themselves by opening remarks. Mr. Oliver, you have the coin toss.
Dallas finally won, huh? Good evening, everybody. Mount Nebo, thank you for having us here this evening. Audience, we appreciate it. My name is Ron Oliver, and I was born and raised in Prince George's County. I have 43 years of public safety in Prince George's County. I am the past volunteer fire chief at Morningside Firehouse right up the road here. I am a retired assistant sheriff with the Office of the Sheriff here in Prince George's County, and I currently sit on the executive board of directors for the Sheriff's Fraternal Order of Police, which is the union. I'm running for the Office of the Sheriff for a couple of reasons. Staffing, morale, and culture within the agency is at an all-time low that I've never seen in my 36 years in being affiliated with the agency. Want to get back to the basics, the office of the sheriff, and doing our mandated functions at the sheriff's office, which is staffing the courthouse, which is where our bread and butter, for all intents and purposes, comes from. Everything that we do comes from the courthouse. That's warrants, child support, evictions, domestic violence orders, and so forth. Currently, several of those mandated sections within the sheriff's office are understaffed terribly. First and foremost, the courthouse is short 12 deputies.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver.
Thank you.
That's enough time for you. Mr. Carr, you're up next.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. How are you today? For those who may not know, I am John Carr. I am your sitting sheriff here at Prince George's County. Grew up here in Prince George's County. Actually served in the office of the sheriff for 24 years. I am the only candidate that's actually served in every rank. I actually brought Mr. Oliver back as he retired as a lieutenant. I brought him back to the agency to try to help bring some culture. But I was lucky enough to serve under 3 sitting sheriffs, Sheriff Melvin High, Sheriff Mike Jackson, and also Sheriff Al Black. The reason why I'm asking for another 4 years here in Prince George's County is because we have a lot of work that we need to do to serve you. As Mr. Oliver stated, he talked about vacancies. We're at an all-time low. We're at 12%. So you're looking at maybe 29 deputy sheriffs. So we need to grow the complement as the county grows. What I want to focus on in serving you is really focusing on mental health, domestic violence, and really working with our seniors and youth. We can't go back to the way we used to do and just stay inside the courthouse.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. That's all the
Thank you so
time that we
much.
have for introductions. We are on to our first question. In 1998, the School Resource Deputy Program was implemented and placed deputy sheriffs in Prince George's County local schools. This year, 2026, the police department is removing all armed police officers from our local schools. Me being a student, what is the status of school safety and what is your goal to ensure our local schools are safe for our children? Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first. Thank you. So in 2006, I actually, to be in the school resource deputy program, I actually started that program in the office of the sheriff. I actually was a supervisor, a sergeant there. I believe that we really do need to be inside the schools, and currently right now, we have a program in our middle schools, Aspiring Young Minds. It's about touching our youth at an early age so we can develop them so that as they become in high school and as they go further into their career, we can actually get them to come into public safety, changing that narrative. When we look at public safety or safety inside the schools, us being there and mentoring our youth is really what it's about. It's not about enforcing school rules or regulations. It's really about taking care. And not only do we take care of our youth, we also need to take care of our parents, because a lot of times we see they are struggling as well. So what I would like to do and continue to do is not only stay in the middle schools, but really work inside our elementary schools and work towards our high schools. We have upcoming a cadet program in which we're paying kids at 18, once they graduate, if they don't want to go to college, that they can actually join in public safety and our building security. That's starting out at $45,000 a year with full benefits at the age of 18. This is what we need to do as far as investing in our youth. This is what we need to do as far as fostering and creating an environment for them that, one, they feel comfortable with public safety, but two, they understand that we are here to serve them and we are here to be a part of the community. And that's our biggest thing, and what we want to make sure in the schools that we do is mentorship, developing them as far as social skills, talking about some of the social issues such as mental health and domestic violence.
Thank you, Mr. Carr, for your answer. Switching on to Mr. Oliver.
Thank you. Yes, all kids and everybody in Prince George's County should feel safe wherever you go, especially in the schools. Educating and communicating with the students, and like the sheriff said, getting to them early, touching base with schools. What I want to do as sheriff and be a sheriff for all in Prince George's County and touch every community in the county. I want to touch every school in the county. I've been doing that over the last several months, and actually over the last few years. Earlier I mentioned that I have a couple grandchildren at Barack Obama Elementary School in Upper Marlboro, and I've been known as the school granddaddy for the last 6 years. So I'm in the schools and have been for a long time. To educate the kids, and they have to build the trust. They have to know that you support them, and they have to know that you're not there just to give them a hard time or what have you. You're there to teach them. You're there to educate them. You're there for them to look up to you, for you to give them guidance. I'm a part of a couple of different programs that I'm having brought into Prince George's County, most recently at Crossland High School, where I graduated from back in 1985. It's a tennis shoe program. It's called Souls of Imagination. And the gentleman, what he does is brings in his tennis shoes and has the kids, gets them thinking and create and design their own tennis shoes.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. That's all we have for that first segment. The second segment, the Prince George's County School to Prison pipeline has not been on the forefront recently. How will you ensure fairness, equity, and safety in the justice system for children and young adults move through the justice system?
Okay, I'll just continue from what I was just saying. Educate and communicate. You have to be there for the children. They have to understand what's right and what's wrong. A lot of time kids, they really don't understand that they're doing something wrong unless it's something very serious. Then obviously, they know at that point a violent crime, for instance, they know right from wrong there. But the bottom line is being involved with the children, being there so that they know you. They know they have an avenue of somebody that's there for them to help educate them. Presence, you have to be there. They have to be able to trust you. They have to know they can reach out to you. When they see you in the street, when they see you in a grocery store or a restaurant with your family, it's okay to speak. There's nothing wrong with that. Be involved, be educated, and communicate with them.
So I would talk about the pipeline to prison. One thing we need to do is work with the Prince George's County Public Schools. As you're talking about having an MOU with our aspiring young minds, our biggest thing is really making sure that we have that in and we're able to actually work with them. We're also able to work with our wonderful partners, such as the State's Attorney's Office, and making sure that we have youth programs. Also, we want to talk to the PPW worker. We want to look at the attendance of that child. We want to see exactly what are the causes of the child having any issues, whether it be in school or having issues outside of school, so that we really can work with them. You can't always arrest your way out of something. You have to make sure that you are there and that you are present in solving the issue and problem. Arresting somebody isn't the answer. Being there for them, going from elementary school to middle school to high school, so you have that constant present. We do a very good job of having programs, and those programs will last you for a year or maybe a few months. But what happens when you're not there? You need to be consistent and work with those youth as they start to develop up. So as they become adults, they now understand the difference between right and wrong. They understand how to deal with social issues and their emotions, dealing with domestic violence. They understand how to deal with mental health, as a lot of times we don't say that we're not okay. These are the things that we need to foster as far as working with that pipeline to prison, making sure that they have the resources, not just a program, but actually resources that are going to help them as they navigate and become an adult here in Prince George's County. Thank you.
Thank you for the answer. Our next and final segment is, how will you strengthen prevention, victim support services, and accountability for offenders?
Partnerships with the rest of the Prince George's County law enforcement and public safety community, period, quite frankly. The more, what does it say, scratch that. The more you can work together and the more people you have on your team in public safety, the better outreach you'll have with the community. The more educated the community can become. I know I keep saying educate and communicate, but those are the two biggest words. You have to teach, you have to communicate, and they have to know, everybody has to know, from a small child to an adult, the seniors, that we're here for them. And again, I intend to be a sheriff for this entire county, not just certain areas of the county, but I will be all around this county in different communities, different seniors, different schools. I was at a school yesterday speaking to 7th graders, and I went there because I was invited based on the conditions of their school. This school was built in 1966, and just about everything in that school, short of the boiler system and some ceiling tiles, everything was original in that school. It was eye-opening. So I vowed to them that being in public safety for 43 years in Prince George's County, and I do know people, that I would work with the principal and help him get some type of necessary renovations in that school. He's being told he's on a list, and that, and he said 60 years later, and we can't get a new floor in the gym.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. That's all the time we have. Switching over to our next candidate, Mr. Carr.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes. How will you strengthen prevention, victim support services, and accountability for offenders?
So one thing when we talk about offenders and we talk about really our community, we have to really tap into our nonprofit organizations. We have a lot of organizations here in Prince George's County that we really don't tap into. We want to make sure that we're able to tap into those so that we can make sure we provide wraparound services. As we talk about the Sheriff's Office, many things that we do as far as warrants, child support, domestic violence, fugitive, these are things that are highly emotional. They look at us as negative. The courts have already decided what's going to happen, so we need to change that narrative. So as we talk about some of the organizations and bringing in and being that partner, we want to work with everybody. We can't go back and say, hey, we just want to be in the courthouse. You can't be in the courthouse and then want to do programs. And as we talk about for all, we have to make sure that we tap into those communities that really need us. It's a big difference between Capitol Heights and Bowie as far as their needs. Each community needs something different, and we need to make sure that we are specialized in when we come to a county or when we come to a city or a district, we're providing that service. We're making sure that we're there for them. You can't take a cookie cutter and say, hey, everybody gets this. It doesn't work that way. It's about really listening to our citizens and really working with them. And as we talk about our offenders and we talk about our returning citizens, they are key. Our faith-based organizations and returning citizens will help us, one, get to our youth as they have a whole different mindset on what they went through. Our faith-based community, we have a large faith-based community here that we really can tap into when it comes to domestic violence and when it comes to mental health. We need to utilize the resources we have.
That's all the time we
have
for this segment. Thank you for your participation and answer to my questions. At this time, we will take questions from the audience. Yes, sir, right here. Yes, you.
My next door neighbor, a father, a man who contributed to the community, was abducted by ICE. I'd like to know your intention for the Sheriff's Department in terms of its relationship with ICE.
So I'm glad you asked that question. I've been very vocal. I probably, maybe outside of 4 other sheriffs here in the state, we've been very vocal as far as not participating in those programs. Our issues and our problems here are something completely different. For many of you who may not know, we do not have our correctional facility. And that's where a lot of times your interaction between ICE would actually be. So I did not sign the agreement with the state, basically saying that we would actually execute those civil writs, and that's what they are. They're civil. So when you see people snatching individuals up outside the street, when you see people actually going into homes illegally, it's not a warrant, it's a civil order. And a lot of times, unfortunately, it's affecting us in our domestic violence areas. Our Latino community up north and down south, they aren't getting domestic violence resources because they're afraid to come into contact with law enforcement. These are the things that we want to make sure we build. So that's why I wanted to make sure that we actually look like the community that we serve. So we're very diverse. Having 29 vacancies for the county is something big.
Thank you, Mr. Carr.
Thank you.
That's all we have. Any other questions?
I can piggyback off of that if that's.
No, go ahead, Mr.
I mean, just basically everything the sheriff said, I agree with. And as a matter of fact, the governor has signed into law the 287G. So he took it out of law enforcement's hands in the state of Maryland, period. So you cannot enter into any kind of agreement. And, we've got 25,000 of our own warrants here in Prince George's County that we need to worry about and get our staffing levels up in the Sheriff's Office warrant squad so that we can attack those. So, yeah, we won't have anything to do with that.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. Any more questions? Yes, ma'am, right here.
I don't have a question, but what I would like to encourage you, whoever wins this election. I heard a lot about domestic violence, but what some people forget about are false charges. I'm a child that grew up in a home, so I'm very sensitive to domestic violence. Thank you. But the issue is, I'd like to encourage you to work with the state's attorney's office and work with the commissioner's office concerning penalties for people that put false charges on individuals. Unfortunately, Maryland is a state that allows you to go to the district commissioner's office without proof, and then you will have a warrant for your arrest. So we need to improve that process because that too is a pipeline to prison.
I agree with you, ma'am. I was part of our domestic violence unit when it started in 1993, and we used to see cross-filing all the time. So yes, that definitely needs to be looked at closely and vetted closely. Starts with the commissioner if the paper is issued at the commissioner, but if it's in court, same thing. It needs to be vetted very well and looked at.
So I do want to make sure that everybody is aware here. There actually was a bill placed in Annapolis this year that actually, and it failed, but it was the first of its kind in reference to trying to push and do that. We also want to make sure that we monitor and we look at that, because those victims, you don't want those, or survivors of domestic violence, you don't want them to feel, hey, if it doesn't seem it's going to go right, that things may turn south. So we do need to work with our state's attorney. We do need to work with our delegates and senators to make sure that whatever we put in place is for the state, and it makes sure that it actually helps
Mr. Carr,
still
that's all the
those
time that we have for
survivors.
questions.
So thank you for that question. You made it through. You almost did it this year. Exactly.
Okay. We have one more question.
Good evening. How everybody doing? I know this is something that you're used to, Sheriff Carr, because we've done community work together. So I don't want it to sound totally a homie, but I know that the governor is very involved in education for our kids. I've looked at, me and you've had conversations about the dollars don't match the results as far as our kids in school. I know that you used to be, a lot of my leadership mentors worked with you when you was at Largo High School as a school resource officer. I want to know, is that something that the Sheriff's Department, a role that they will be willing to take over as far as the resource officer? Because we know when our kids feel safe and the teachers feel safe, we get better results in education. And if we could have something like that, is there any type of innovative programming or anything that's going to happen that will deal with that issue, to whereas we can get the kids, because we know right now that 70% of 11th and 12th graders are not reading on the third grade level in our high school.
Answer
So
question.
we would like to have that dealt with.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So to answer that question, we have been in conversation with the Prince George's County government as far as our involvement. We do have an MOU with the Prince George's County Public Schools in which we actually facilitate security for their sporting events and any social events that they may have. We already have the setup as far as being a part of the school system and going back into the schools. I think the biggest thing is, as we talk about resources, the agency needs to expand. Currently, right now, the sheriff's office, to include sworn and civilian, to include myself, is 392, 263 deputies sworn, and everybody else is our supporting civilian staff.
Mr.
So it
Carr,
tells you as the
that's all
county
we
grows,
have.
we need to actually grow the
Mr. Carr, that's all
agency
we
as
have.
well. Thank you.
Our last question
Thank
for
you.
tonight.
People have to answer. Mr. Oliver.
Okay, sorry,
I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Oliver, go ahead. Did you want to answer the question too?
Oh, no, I thought this gentleman had a
About
question for me.
resources. He was asking about the resource program.
This is my time? Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
This question is for Mr. Oliver. So far this evening, you've been in agreement with most of the comments from Mr. Carr. What will you do different as sheriff than what he's doing already?
Okay, great question. I'm glad you asked that, sir. I would change the morale and the culture around the sheriff's office and the staffing levels. Like I said, the courthouse is one of our mandated functions, and the courthouse is down 12 deputies for the courtroom. The courthouse is down 5 deputies for the canine unit, which is our bomb dogs, which secure the courthouse. The courthouse currently staffs every door entry with an overtime deputy every day. The warrant division, which is a mandated function, has 8 vacancies in it. The landlord and civil, which does the evictions, 4 vacancies. The backlog of evictions are back to October. It's May, or almost May. So once again, I'm going to focus on filling our mandated sections at the sheriff's office,
Mr.
changing the
Oliver,
morale.
sorry, that's all the time that we have for this segment. Thank you, everyone, for your participation. Thank you, Mr. Carr and Mr. Oliver, for your participation at this forum. Let's please give a warm hands for this segment.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to introduce our next moderator, Ms. Taylor Thomas.
Thank you, and good evening, good evening. For those of you that are just arriving, there are open seatings excluding the front row, but come on through, we've got room. At this time, if we could please ask the candidates for state's attorney to please join us here. Welcome, welcome. There's a mic at each of the seats, and I believe the name should be in front of you. Make sure your name is correct for those who may not know. There we go. Now, while they're setting up, I want to give you some guidelines with this, right? First of all, can we make sure we silence our phones? And again, this is a forum for us to get information, so we do request that you are mindful and respectful of the time that you have to ask a question, and as the candidates are speaking, that we give them the time to do that as well. Candidates, if you look to your left, you'll see a timekeeper over here. She'll flash a card indicating how much time you have, so you don't have to necessarily rush through it, but you can at least know why the card is here. For those of you that are just here as well, they have a 1 minute open, 1 minute close, and 90 seconds for them to answer each of the questions. They can opt to answer it or not. Are we ready? All right, here we go. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. This is his house.
Come on, give God a hand clap of praise. Give him glory, give him honor. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, you can do a bit better than that. I know it's a candidate for him, but when I think of the goodness of Jesus and all that my soul cries. Hallelujah. Listen, I'm Pastor Gerald Folsom. I want to thank you for members of Greater Mount Nebo. Raise your hand, raise your hand, raise your hand. Oh, look at there, look at there. On behalf of Greater Mount Nebo AME Church, I want to thank the AKAs and everybody that's here. We're so happy that you're here. We're happy, happy, happy. I had to say this now because the Qs, we're having what y'all call regionals. We're having our district meeting at National Harbor. So I got to run down there also, but I wanted to make sure I greet you all and say, have a great time. Be well informed so you can be an informed voter. Amen? Amen. All right, National Coalition 100 Black Women of Prince George's County chapter. Welcome. Come on, come on. Raise your hand. Hallelujah. 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 All right, I'm going to get off the floor before I miss somebody. But I love you all. Enjoy yourself. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. I didn't see you over there. I'm sorry. All right, so we're going to ask questions, and we'll start from, my right and then kind of verse so everyone has an opportunity. And then I have a couple of questions that the audience they wrote down so we can keep our time. If you have a question you want to put on a note card, raise your hand, and one of the actual, there we go, one of the actual participants of this, or organizers of this event, will give you a note card so we can ask it, so we can keep on time and get as many of your questions answered as possible. All right, so let's start off with the first question. Well, first of all, we have the opening. So we're going to start with the person closest to me, and that would be candidate Mitchell. Yes. Give your microphone if you'd like to have it.
All right. Good evening. Thank you for having this event. I am Karen Piper Mitchell. I've been in this community for over 50 years. I graduated from Largo High School in 1990. I have tutored youth for over 20 years, and I've been a youth football coach. I've been committed to serving in this community, but I've also been a prosecutor for over 26 years. I am the current Deputy State's Attorney in Charles County. I've held that position for over 60 years. I've tried just about every kind of case, from theft to murder. I have tutored and mentored young prosecutors that have come into the office, as well as I participate in the statewide training of prosecutors. But I've also worked in the office where I have supervised staff, as well as attorneys, and restructured the office. I thank you for being here tonight to hear what my positions are and to consider me and vote for me on June 23rd.
Ms. Jackson.
Hello?
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Tara Jackson, and I am your state's attorney. I've been your state's attorney since June of 2025, when there was a vacancy in the office. And the law says that when there's a vacancy in the state's attorney's office, that the judges of the circuit court appoint the replacement or the person to serve as the interim state's attorney. I applied for that position, and I was selected to be your state's attorney. I am, just a little bit about myself quickly, I am a wife to Paul. I am a mother to Josiah, my 12-year-old son. I am a Prince Georgian. Prince George's County is my home. I have lived in this county almost all of my life. I grew up and went to Riverdale Baptist, Camp Springs Christian, Oxon Hill High School, and after I went to undergrad and law school, I returned here to work. And I've been my professional career has been in Prince George's County. For the last 15 years, I've held leadership roles in this county. You've known me as your chief administrative officer, as your acting county executive, and now as your state's attorney. I've got the leadership, the experience. Yes, ma'am. And I would like your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Fisher?
Hello. Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. My name is Wanika Fisher, and I'm running to be the next state's attorney of Prince George's County. I am the people's prosecutor. I have been a prosecutor in this county, protecting the innocent and holding violent criminals accountable. I've been a defense attorney, making sure people's rights are protected. I was elected to the Maryland General Assembly, in which I wrote criminal laws that are used in our courtrooms every day. I was elected to the Prince George's County Council, where I chair public safety, overseeing the state's attorney's office, police, sheriff, and more. I have a bold new vision for our county, and I'm ready for the challenges that are facing us for 2026 and beyond. I'm so excited to be here with you tonight. I know that we're going to talk about many issues, but the most important to me is the issues that you care about, your safety and your well-being. My name is Wanika Fisher. I'm the people's prosecutor, and I'm determined to earn your vote this evening.
All right, so now I have a couple of questions that we have here. They have 90 seconds to answer them. Each one can answer, or one can answer. It's up to you. I'll go in order again. We'll start from Ms. Mitchell and work our way down, and vice versa the other way, unless there's specific questions for you. And then I do have some questions for the audience that we hope to have time. They have 60 seconds for this. The question we have, Ms. Mitchell, what are your top 3 priorities if elected as state's attorney?
My top three priorities is one, dealing with domestic violence, making sure that when individuals are victims with the system, that they, one, are supported throughout the process. Making sure that we work with law enforcement in the kind of investigations that we need so that we can get solid convictions. Making sure that the victims also have resources that they need. Two, organized retail theft. How we, our ability to be able to support those stores, I believe affects our ability to bring in business into our community. And I have been working on that as a prosecutor in Charles County, working with those regional investigators to help make sure that we build solid cases and deal with the individuals that are ravaging our region. And then finally, juvenile justice reform. We need to deal with not only the accountability of the juveniles when we have them in the system and they're in the court, but also we need to look at ways to target at-risk youth so we can address prevention, and as well as what happens to them when they're no longer in.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell.
Thank you.
And just to remind you, the timekeepers on the left, I hate having to interrupt you so when she does a 30 seconds, just mentally think about that. I hate to, because you guys have so many important things to say, so she's right over here to your left. At this time, can we please ask Ms. Jackson? I will repeat the question if you'd like. The question is, what are your top three priorities if reelected?
Priorities. One is accountability. At the end of the day, I believe that anyone who commits crime in Prince George's County should be held accountable. Accountability looks different depending on the type of crime that's committed, but for our youth and for our adults, it's accountability. Secondly, I believe in transparency. I believe that there's so many people across this county that do not understand what the state's attorney's office does. And it is our job to make sure that we communicate and educate the county. For one, people probably do, well, the council does not oversee the state's attorney's office. So I just want to make sure that you're aware of that. But education is important. And we've put out emails and community letters and all sorts, and crime data dashboard to make sure that we're able to educate our community. I was only able to give you two, but thank you.
And again, as I repeat again, we said 90 seconds they have to answer the questions, right? So, right? You're keeping it at 90 seconds, right, timekeeper? Again, it's 60 seconds for the open and 90 seconds to answer the questions. So we are going to let Ms. Jackson finish your 30 seconds. We apologize. Ms. Jackson.
I am extremely concerned about financial fraud and scams in our community. We've been moving around our community to make sure that we educate, especially our seniors, about financial fraud and scams. And then I also spoke about transparency. And let me just say this, we have put out a crime data dashboard so that you can see just how the state's attorney's office is using our discretion. Please check us out on the website, look at the dashboard, and you'll have more information about the priorities that we have in the office. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Fisher, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I think you said the top three priorities. I think I'm good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, first of all, I'm so excited to be here. And my top three priorities as the next state's attorney, because we haven't elected a state's attorney yet, okay, is one, violent gun offenders. We have to be focused on violent crime that is ravaging our communities. My second priority is going to be domestic violence. It is absolutely out of control what is happening in our homes. And it's going to take a holistic approach to heal our communities, and an approach that's community focused, and that's focused on not reshaming our victims, but empowering them to thrive. My third priority is going to be scammers and virtual predators. All of you here are susceptible to what's going on online with your phone. Losing thousands of dollars, being scammed out of your savings, the elder abuse that's going on. We have to have a focused unit and partner with our police department to have top-of-the-line investigators to make sure our entire generational wealth is not wiped out in this community. Those will be my top 3 priorities when I'm your elected state's attorney of Prince George's County.
Thank you. This next question will start with Ms. Jackson. What is your approach to public safety and crime reduction?
And I'm really proud about it. From 24 to 25 homicides were down about 40%, carjackings down about 55%. So crime is down. And what I would say is it is a collective approach, a collaborative approach, all of us working together. That means everyone in this room, as well as the state's attorney's office, as well as our sworn police officers. We need to all work together to make sure that we can educate each other and we can support each other. Secondly, it's accountability all day long. I believe that accountability deters crime. And so we need to make sure that we are appropriately holding people accountable for the crimes that they commit against the residents of this community. That means our adults as well as our young people. And then secondly, it is about trusting the prosecutor's office. We need to make sure, you need to make sure that you have a leader in the prosecutor's office that you can trust. Because if you don't trust our office, then we won't work well together. You need to trust that we are going to be able to hold people accountable and that we're going to tell you the truth. So it's all about accountability, trust, and I want you to know that crime is down. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mitchell, what is your approach to public safety and crime reduction?
My approach is the same that I've had for the last 26 years. One, you want to make sure that you build an office of talented prosecutors that can handle the cases, because it doesn't matter whatever the police do if we can't handle the cases in the courtroom and if we're not prepared for that. So that's the first thing that you do when you're working on that. Two, what I've been doing is we work with the law enforcement. You have to continue to stay engaged on an annual basis so that they understand what you need from an investigation standpoint, so that, again, you're building strong cases that the trier of fact, whether it be judge or jury, will find that the individual is guilty. Additionally, you also need to connect with the community. You have to make sure you're going around and finding out what are their concerns. And some of the things that, as I've gone around and found out from the community here, are some of the same things that we've been dealing with. People having their cars broken into, people not having their cars stolen, the domestic violence that hasn't gone down, the organized retail theft that is still a problem within our community. So it is engaging in all of those areas, and then education, letting people know ways in which they cannot become victims of crime. And that's one of the things, especially that we do in the area of homeowner, home improvement, and letting people know where they go to find the proper individual to do the work in their home. So it's all of those areas and letting the community together. And then finally, I also work with legislation to make sure that we have the kind of laws that we need so that we can be effective in the courtroom.
Hello, okay. Do you all feel safer? That's the question. That's the question. I can read data points to you all day, but the question and the due north of me as state's attorney is if my community in a year from today, when I'm back here at Mount Nebo, because I will commit to be back, is if you feel safer. My office is going to focus on a community prosecution model. You will actually know the people that work in your state's attorney's office. That's number one. Number two, we have to connect people. I cannot tell you how many cases either have repeat offenders or repeat victims. The state's attorney's office has to be a partnership with our government, our church communities, and more to make sure people are connected to the resources that they need. And lastly, we have to build confidence that accountability will actually happen in our community. It is hard to get people to come testify. The evidence that you need when they feel nothing will happen. It's confidence that it needs to be built, that justice will be served, and justice will be served when Wanika Fisher is State's Attorney of Prince George's County.
So this is our last written question, and the rest will come from the audience, so hopefully we'll get enough time to get as many of these questions in as possible. If you're just entering, there are some seats, so make your way over here and enjoy today's forum. So question will start off with Ms. Mitchell. Youth crime, what specific programs or policies will you implement to prevent and reduce youth involvement crimes if elected?
I think we have to deal with youth crime through ways, and I talked about it earlier. I was a juvenile prosecutor from 2000 to 2002, and I got to see up front how that process is, and we continue to deal with that now as we receive our cases from the Department of Juvenile Services. And I've seen a reduction of the services that are there. I've seen a change in the focus that when we were able to either commit a person to a program, to get them rehabilitated, to bring them back, to have them in probation a long enough time to see the changes. That doesn't happen anymore. We're seeing in our serious cases where, again, they're not in the system very long and they're not getting connected. So that's the first thing that we have to deal with. We have to make sure that when we have the cases in the state's attorney's office and that we're working with the Department of Juvenile Services so that we can hold them accountable for the crimes that they commit, but also deal with when they're no longer connected with the Department of Juvenile Services, when they're no longer connected with the school system, with the probation. And you have to make sure that you're mentoring them. You also have to look at ways that we do prevention. That was one of the things I enjoyed about being a youth football coach, because we went to a community and we had children engaged not only in football, but also touring and education and helping them along their way. Because if we can prevent them from getting in the system in the first place, that is the most critical way in which we can have crime prevention.
All right, so now thank you all for that. Now we're going to go to the audience questions. Once again, this front row is open if you're looking for somewhere to sit.
Ms. Hill, we didn't get to answer.
Okay.
That's okay.
I'm moving through that. Yes, next one. I'm so sorry. Our next person who's going to answer it is Ms. Jackson. Do you need to repeat? Okay.
You can.
I can. All right, here we go. Again, the front row is open, so you guys have room. Come on up. Youth crime. What specific programs or policies will you implement to prevent and reduce youth involvement in crime if elected?
So the good thing is I don't have to tell you what I will do. I'll tell you what I am doing. And so as soon as I got into the office, we recognized that this was an area that we needed to be involved in. And number one, just so you know, most of the crimes that come into the state's attorney's office, or most of the crimes that are committed by young people in the community, they go to DJS first, the Department of Juvenile Services. They don't even come to our office directly. So number one, we're going to push, and we are pushing Department of Juvenile Services to build accountability into their informal processes, informal diversions that they have with young people. Number two, we've started a truancy initiative. We started it not too long ago, and we are partnering with the school system as well as nonprofits in our community to provide services. We're going to start hopefully in a month. We've hired all of the people. We've hired case managers in our office, a coordinator, but we're going to go into the schools and provide services to children that are chronically absent, because we know that chronic absenteeism leads to juvenile delinquency. Number three, I'm in schools all the time. Wherever I can be in schools, trying to build a relationship with students, I'm doing that. Number four, we have juvenile gun courts and other specialty courts in our office, which we refer cases to so that we can give young people an opportunity to leave the system without any kind of stain on their record.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
I see my time is up.
Ms. Fisher, Youth crime, what specific programs or policies will you implement to prevent and reduce youth involvement in crime if elected?
You know, I always say the same thing. Children are like a vine, and if they don't have structure to grow and flourish, we're really setting them up for failure. So the three things that I'm going to be focused on is diversion with our young people. Our young people need programs, they need places to go, they need partnership, they need mentorship. Because a lot of our young people don't have a safe home. And every single young person has a different circumstance that they're dealing with. We also need to make sure that young people are held accountable. Accountability is a huge issue for our young folks. And let me say this, there's a difference between a young person who takes a watch versus a young person who takes a life. And they need to be handled with accordingly, okay? And the third thing that I think is super important for our young people is truancy. You hear that word a lot, but when you get down into truancy, the biggest indicator is that when young people don't read on their reading level, they are truant in school. If we focus with our partners in our school system, our county government, and we focus on getting Prince George's County reading on grade level, you will see a drop in truancy, and I will be committed to it as your next state's attorney. Thank you very much.
All right, I do have a couple of questions from the audience that are directed to a particular person. This one is directed to Ms. Fisher. What is the difference between a prosecutor and a state's attorney?
Thank you for that question. They can be interchangeable words, but I think the heart of that question is there are prosecutors every day that work in the office. But you're voting for the state's attorney of Prince George's County, someone that has to have a vision and a direction for that office, someone that has to manage people and pressure and be a voice for us, especially when it comes to going to Annapolis. There were many bills that I'm sure you'll have in questions that impact our criminal system. Sometimes as a county that borders DC, our residents get confused about what we can change right away. Every criminal law is decided in Annapolis. And as state's attorney, I have to make sure that they're working for us. I have to manage an office, I have to make sure the funding is there, and I have a vision to address things like our virtual predators, like domestic violence, like violent gun offenders, like people trying to steal our wealth and our homes. That is the focus, and to me, that would be the difference.
I think with that, I can actually ask each of you what you, okay, that's fine. All right, so the next one is for Ms. Jackson. If factual, what type of facility is being discussed for youth, and what diversion programs are being utilized? I guess they're saying if it's true, what type of facilities are being discussed for youth, and what diversion programs are being utilized?
Well, again, as I talked about what we're doing for our young people in the community, as it relates to diversion programs, it depends on the crime. All crimes have to be dealt with, and especially our young people have to be dealt with individually, depending on the circumstances of that particular case. But the court has specialty courts, and we refer children to those specialty courts. So for first-time gun offenders, there's a juvenile gun offender court that we utilize, and the young people will have the opportunity to complete that program, and again, to walk away without a stain on their record. We also have mental health court, but that's in district court. I'm sorry, not for juvenile court. We have the truancy diversion program that I just talked about that we have started. And the goal of the truancy program is to make sure that we don't see these young people in court at a later point. Again, we're going into the schools. We've asked the schools to identify for us where children are chronically absent on the elementary school level, on the middle school level, as well as the high school level. And we're going to go into the community, go into the schools, and provide wraparound services for the student as well as the family.
Thank you so very much. This next question is for all of you. We'll start off, however, with Ms. Mitchell. can all the candidates talk about direct courtroom experience? 1, how many cases have you tried? 2, how many people have you supervised?
August 30th of this year, it will make 27 years I've been a prosecutor, and I've been in the courtroom consistently, whether I'm directly trying the case or whether I'm supervising an attorney. I actually currently have 2 homicide cases that I have to try now. So I'm always in the courtroom. I'm always training prosecutors. I don't know how many cases I've won. We don't keep track of what our wins and losses are. We focus on the case individually. I work with grand jury, so I review over 100-some cases on a regular basis, a weekly basis, making decisions and charging decisions. I'm the coordinator. I have trained prosecutors for over 20 years to do the job that they're doing. I actually write our law, I actually revise the criminal law that we have so that when we put it in a charging document, it is correct. I have been involved consistently in prosecution. This is what I do. This is what I have focused on in keeping the community safe. So that's been my courtroom experience. I have 16 years more experience as a prosecutor than one of my candidates that I have 25 years more experience as a prosecutor than the other. So if you want to put a label on this, I am a prosecutor through and through.
Ms. Jackson, would you like me to repeat that question?
Fine, thank you.
You're welcome.
In terms of, look, I have the most experience at this table between my opponents. I agree that Ms. Piper Mitchell has been a prosecutor for 27 years, but I've been a leader across this community at so many different levels. Let me start with being a prosecutor. I believe that I've tried about 6 or 7 homicides, very serious homicides that you all have heard about over the years being a prosecutor. I can't tell you how many rapes I've tried in other cases. I've tried everything from assaults to homicides, everything. I led the state's attorney's office, 200 people in the state's attorney's office. I led it for about 6 years. The very office that I'm in now, not an office in Charles County, Prince George's County. And then I was a deputy in the county attorney's office. I was the deputy chief administrative officer in the county, the chief administrative officer. There are over 5,000 employees in the county. I was responsible for those employees. I led that office on behalf of the county executive. I know how to lead, and I've been in positions to lead for the last 15 years. My leadership cannot be matched. It cannot be matched.
Thank you. Would you like me, Ms. Fisher, to repeat the question?
No, I think I'm good. I've been an attorney for over 10 years. And yeah, I'm different than my opponents. I've sat on both sides of the courtroom. I've been a prosecutor and I've been a defense attorney. I've been able to get clients out of things in this county that I shouldn't be able to. I have a different perspective than my opponents. I haven't gotten every supervisor role I have because I'm close friends with someone. I have earned every single seat that I've had in this county because all of you gave it to me with your vote, with your confidence. So yeah, I've been in courtrooms for 10 years. And yes, I'm a little younger, so I can't just grow 10 years overnight, okay? But I went straight through school and straight to court. And I will continue to have that bold vision for each and one of you. I've had hundreds of cases on different sides of it, but you need someone who's gonna lead. And that's exactly what you're gonna get with Wanika Fisher as your state's attorney.
So I have 2 more really good questions I'm hoping to get in before my time is up here. And This young lady, I believe, may still be in the audience. So this will start off with Ms. Jackson for this one. Are you aware of recent bill that failed, HB 336, concerning consequences for false statements? What are your thoughts on people being detained based on false charges? How can you improve the issue with the commissioners?
I am aware generally of the legislation. I didn't know what happened in this particular session, but I will tell you that we're concerned about the Citizens Complaint Bureau. And in fact, I've talked to one of my deputies about that bureau on a number or that office on a number of occasions, because it is difficult sometimes to try and determine, frankly, whether charges are real or not. What we do now currently is when people file charges, especially domestic violence cases, our office in the district court, we reach out to the victim of those cases, the person who has filed the charges, to try and screen those cases before they go to court. So that's an effort on our part to try and determine whether or not it's a case that we truly should go forward on. I have definitely seen cases, the system being used and abused, and people filing charges that are not legitimate. And it's my goal, I can't give you some sweeping answer, but it's my goal that my prosecutors would have the discernment to look at each case individually and make a determination as to whether or not that's a case that they should proceed on. It's a difficult issue that the state is dealing with because, as you heard, I think our sheriff say, the state doesn't want to cut off access to residents around the county, but it is an important issue that we're paying attention to in the office.
Ms. Fisher?
Yeah, I think I'm familiar with the bill, and I think it's an important question. It's going to really take some hard work, not the sexy work. When I chaired the statewide work group to rewrite our criminal code, so we used to call it gang, now we call it criminal organization, it took a bipartisan effort. We had meetings from Frederick to everywhere. Because when you change a criminal law, you change it for all of Maryland. Right? Does that make sense? So it's going to really take us fighting in Annapolis to get everyone together to really look at citizen charging. It's something that we want people to have a voice when they feel afraid to bring charges, but it is used and abused in our courtrooms. You just walk into any district court, you're seeing people plea out. Someone brought charges, I brought charges the next day. So I think it's really important that we work with our partners to have reform, to be dedicated. And as the next state's attorney, I will make sure that I am present in Annapolis for that conversation and hopefully bring you in as a partner on that conversation. And that would be great. Thank you.
Ms. Mitchell.
So one of the concerns with that bill has always been from our domestic violence community is it going to close the opportunity for them to get some kind of justice and get their cases handled? So it is a balancing act because the State's Attorneys Association for years has supported at least removing the ability to get a warrant for the citizen complaints. One of the things that I want to work on and think is important is to make sure that if we can route those cases when a domestic violence victim is coming, route them to having a law enforcement officer meet with them and decide if the charges should be filed, and balance that with trying to get rid of the warrant that the commissioners can issue, because I've seen them. And we review these cases when they come in. Review those citizens' complaints. If we find that we don't have confidence in the charges or that a warrant shouldn't be issued, we immediately take care of those cases. And again, because I coordinate the grand jury section, if we see a case where, again, that we find that the person has been charged, we don't have confidence, and we will actually get to a judge immediately to have that person at least released out of jail. So that's the work that needs to happen with that, is trying to find a balance between the concerns that people with domestic violence has and the concerns that we have when you don't have any kind of investigation, you have no police involvement, and then you're leaving it with the state's attorney's office to try to figure it out. So that's what has, that communication, that conversation has to continue, because it's been going on, and that was for a while. Thank you.
This is our final question, I think one that popped up a lot here in the audience. In recent years, our region has seen an increase in carjackings. What will you do to reverse this trend if elected? Can I start with Ms. Fisher, please?
Hello, okay. I mean, we had our own clerk of the court carjacked at Woodmore. Did y'all see that? Yeah, a couple weeks ago. We've got to be vigilant with our law enforcement partners. Because the reality of carjacking is you got to go beyond that, where some are just stealing them for free rides and some of them are big criminal vehicle theft, right? Both are going to take investigation and partnership and holding people accountable that have to serve time and understand that you can't take a gun and a knife and threaten a Prince Georgian and think you can get away with it. Because right now they feel like they can. That's what it's going to take for us to move forward on this issue, and it's also going to take partnership. No person can do anything by themselves. I know I look out at this audience, I see so much of the best of our county, but we've all gotten here with someone. And it's going to take that partnership with law enforcement and investigators to bring people to account and have the evidence that we need to hold them accountable. And on our bigger rings, bigger car rings that are going on, it's going to take that partnership with our Attorney General and our other partners to really get to the heart of the issue. So thank you, and that was my response.
Ms. Jackson.
So again, let me be clear. From 24 to 25, carjackings went down 55%. That's a phenomenal decrease. And even this year, 26, from where we were in 25, there continues to be a decline in carjackings. Now, with that being said, one carjacking is too many. And we work on a very regular basis with our police department to make sure that we are addressing these issues. In fact, not just the Prince George's County Police Department, but all of our municipal police departments across the county. I meet with them now on a very regular basis, on a weekly basis, to deal with these issues. We've got our strategic investigative unit that is handling, that I have assigned to handle crews in our county, because oftentimes there are crews that are involved in some of our carjacking rings. And so we've assigned special prosecutors to look at those particular issues. But I want you to know that law enforcement and the state's attorney's office do not take violent crime lightly. All day long, we are seeking to hold people accountable for the crimes that they commit against our residents. And hopefully one day we will have no carjackings in Prince George's.
Ms. Mitchell.
You know, do what I've been doing. You know, you investigate those cases, and then when you have those cases, you prosecute the individuals for the carjacking. You demand the type of sentences that you need from the court so that you send the message that this is unacceptable. But the other critical thing that you have to do is you have to not only work within your own county, but regionally. And one of the things that I've found as a prosecutor is that we'll have individuals that are committing crimes not only in Charles County, they're committing crimes in Prince George's County, they're committing crimes in Anne Arundel County, and you have to make sure that you're gathering that information and, again, sharing that with the court so that the court understands this isn't an isolated incident. So it's about partnership with that, and that's something that I've done over the years. Oftentimes, we will find that we have individuals, they might live in Prince George's County and they're committing crimes in Charles, or vice versa. So that's also critical to when you're trying to attack and deal with individuals that are repeat offenders that are in these kind of rings, is you have to make sure that you're getting the information across the region, because they do not limit themselves to boundaries. They don't stop and say, oops, I happen to be in Fort Washington today. And so that's critical to how you deal with crime from a regional standpoint. And the statistics that you hear, we've had crime go down in Charles County, and I've been a consistent presence in making sure that people are held accountable, especially when they deal with our serious crimes that we face.
Thank you. So now we are going to do the 60-second close. We will start off with Ms. Fisher, followed by Ms. Jackson, and then by Ms. Mitchell.
Okay. Prince George's County, you know me. I've been in your communities, I've marched with you, I've been with visuals with you. I've been in the courtroom with you, I've been in the State House with you, I've been in the council chambers with you. I haven't shown up because I've just been appointed, and I haven't shown up just because I want to be elected. I've been here with you in the fight every single day. And I will continue to do that as your next state's attorney. I have a bold vision for our county, and I humbly ask you for your vote. Someone who's going to take on the challenges of our future to make sure that we're safe. My name is Wanika Fisher. I'm the people's prosecutor, and I will fight like you matter because in Prince George's County, you do.
Person. I was going down. I'm sorry.
I didn't
I had
know
to
whether.
officially say, I'm sorry. Ms. Jackson, please.
I just want to take the time to say thank you for coming out tonight. It is important that we have a room full of people that care about the office of the state's attorney, that care about the office of the county executive, that care about the office of the sheriff. As it relates to the state's attorney, you need someone in this role who has great experience, who has not just experience as a prosecutor, but experience as a leader. And I'm proud to say that I have United States Senator Alsobrooks' support. I'm proud to say that. I am proud to say that not only did she endorse me, and she was a prosecutor, but I'm proud to say that Congressman Glenn Ivey has endorsed me. I'm proud to say that former County Executive Baker has endorsed me. I'm proud to say that the Baltimore City Prosecutor, Ivan Bates, has endorsed me, as well as the Montgomery County Chief Prosecutor, John McCarthy, has endorsed me. And why? Because they know that I can lead and I have the most experience to do this job.
Ms. Mitchell.
On June 23rd, you have a chance to make the decision who will be your next state's attorney. And it is me. You know, I've led an office for over 16 years as second in command. And leadership is leadership. And crime is crime. And when someone has a victim that they have, a victim, they don't say, oh, well, you've only tried cases in a certain county. Oh, but by the way, I've tried cases in Prince George's County. For over 20 years, we have assisted Prince George's County when they had conflicts. I've prosecuted someone for filing false charges and got a conviction in Prince George's County. So I've been in both jurisdictions and handling things and been entrusted with that. I've supervised individuals, up to 5 people. We had 5 cases at the start of 2025 that were Prince George's County cases. So my footprint has been here as well. I am a leader. I have led and I've continued to do that. And as far as I know every ins and out of what it means to run an office and to be in the state's attorney's office, because I've been doing it consistently. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. Ladies and gentlemen, can you please give our candidates a rousing applause for today's forum? And happy birthday. I want to let you know there's some people that said, hey, Taylor, my questions weren't answered. We are trying to keep on time. So everyone that filled out questions for the state's attorney's position, if you did not hear it responded, they will email a response to the questions you have. That's why when you filled out that sheet, it had your email address. So we're making sure you hear directly from the candidates about the questions that you have. As we prepare now, there's names here, so make sure you sit in front of your name. Can we please have the candidates for Prince George's County Executive please come to the dais? There's a microphone for each one of you. I don't know if you can see your names. So that we can keep on time, ladies and gentlemen, for those that are greeting the candidates that just took part in the state's attorney's forum, if you could proceed through the doors so we can give the candidates for Prince George's County Executive the opportunity to address the questions that we have. Does anyone have questions? We have sheets here if you want to have questions for the county executive. Ladies and gentlemen, can you please either sit down or leave the room? Thank you so much, so we can be respectful for the candidates here for Prince George's County Executive. Thank you so much. I want to take a second, and he can correct me. I believe, I'm going to wait till they move out. Mr. Holmes, are you here for the duration, or you have to leave early? Okay. That's okay. All right, so good. All right, so here we go. We have the candidates for Prince George's County Executive. If you have questions, you can see our wonderful assistant here. She'll give you a piece of paper to fill out, and you'll be able, if I don't get to your questions, I promise you the candidates will email you a response. As with the other contestants, good evening, everyone, and welcome. You have 60 seconds for your open. You have 90 seconds for your response, and then you'll have 60 seconds for your close. To your left is our timekeeper. There we go. All right, let's begin. And your microphone's in front of you. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to start to my right. The question will be, Ms. Aisha Braveboy, what is your plan to support economic development in the county as well as the state? I keep jumping. I'm so sorry. I'm so excited about getting to the point. Let's do the opening. Thank you. You see? Thank you so much. Aisha Braveboy, will you please do your opening? And we're going to go down to each person, and then you'll get to my question. I'm eager.
Well, good evening, everyone.
Wait, it's not on.
Oh,
There you go.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. As you can probably hear, I'm a little under the weather, but I'm pushing through. Look, I am so grateful that the people of Prince George's County elected me in the special election to serve as county executive. When I walked into the office, I was facing a $170 million structural deficit. I was also facing the loss of major assets like Six Flags and the Commanders. In less than 8 months, I was able to zero out the structural deficit so that we don't have a structural deficit anymore. And I was able to compete and win the biggest prize in this region when it comes to economic development, Sphere National Harbor, which will dwarf the revenues that we currently receive from Six Flags and the Commanders combined, more than 3 times as much as those assets. So while, of course, we hate to see assets leave, what I know is that I can bring in bigger and better assets here to Prince George's County. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Billy Bridges. First of all, thank you all for coming. I am a Christian, Air Force veteran, father of 2 and grandfather of 3. I have a bachelor's degree in political science, master's degrees in pastoral counseling. public administration, and leadership with an emphasis on emergency management. My platform says that we are going to govern with a Christian spirit to improve our healthcare, safety, schools, and wealth. And as we get through the night, I hope to get to all of those points to clarify exactly what we're going to do in those things. But our hallmark for the healthcare is that make sure we have a mobile health department to get out into all of our communities, for our schools, to make sure that our schools are reorganized, to make sure we get the best benefit for our students. For safety, we're going to transfer our police department into public safety, and I can show you what community policing really looks like. And finally, in our wealth situation, wealth building, we're going to make sure that citizens are investing. We're not waiting for the investors to come in. Thank you.
Flick it up once and give it 1 second. It'll turn, the white light will come on.
Testing. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Marcellus Cruz, and I'm a candidate for Prince George's County Executive. More than a candidate, I'm a son. And I've seen true leadership up close and personal. My mom, one of 12 children, skipped school twice, received her PhD, and then proceeded to put all of her brothers and sisters through college. She taught me that leadership is more than a title. It's all about opening up doors for others. And I hope to get to that this evening. Thank you.
Next candidate, please. Yes, I'm sorry. It's okay. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. All right, that's a little bit better. I'm Greg Holmes. I'm a third-generation Prince George's County resident, and I want to thank the coalition for allowing me to be here. This is one of the most incredible days that you can think of in my life. Today, I celebrate 32 years of marriage to my wife. Can you please stand up? And the next First Lady of Prince George's County. So I say that because all the women know it's our anniversary, but I'm here, not out, right? But I appreciate the fact that my wife understands how big this is and how compelling this moment is for us to be here, because I have my kids here, I have my mom here, and I have my wife here. So this is the first family. This is the next family for Prince George's County. Thank you.
Greetings, everybody. I'm Charnel Ferguson, and I'm running to be your next county executive. When I look at Prince George's County, I believe that we deserve better than what we're receiving. I look at government as servicing the people, and if you elect me, you'll get a fighter. I served on the National Board of Directors for the NAACP. I served at the state conference, NAACP as well. That means encompassing all the youth and college divisions in the state of Maryland. My most notable interaction was one of my classmates got killed in a hate crime in 2017. I had to step up to the plate, and if I choose any leader to fight for this county and deliver real, tangible results, it would be me. So elect Charnel Ferguson for your next county executive. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Tanya Sweat. And unlike my colleagues up here, I'm running as well, but as an independent. That means I have to ask your permission to even be on the ballot to run in 2026. And if you give me that permission, don't look for me in June. My name will be on the ballot in November when it really counts. I'm a litigating attorney. Right now I'm a sole practitioner right here in Prince George's County. But before that, I was a judge advocate in the United States Air Force. My last assignment was right here in Prince George's County at Andrews Air Force Base. Then I went to work for the federal government as a banking and financial regulator. Prince George's County was actually the case study that we used to write the Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act of 2010. So I understand the economy here in this county, what we need to do to improve it and to reduce the tax burden on homeowners and to make Prince George's County the home we all know and want it to be. If you give me a time tonight to let me talk to you about my skills, my background, and my experience, then all I'm going to ask you to do is see the people in the room with my t-shirt or my button and give me permission to be on your ballot in November. Thank you.
All right, so I was eager to get to hear from each of the candidates, so we will start off again with Ms. Braveboy, the first question, and we will go in order. And it is, what is your plan to support economic development in the county and state?
So my plan is to be aggressive and to be to get results. So as I mentioned earlier, I was able to put together a team and a plan to attract the single largest investment in the history of Prince George's County, a $1.6 billion project, which will provide jobs and opportunities, not just for residents, not just for residents to get jobs, but also businesses to do business with MSG, which is the owner of Sphere. That will have a $1.3 billion impact on our county and a $1.5 billion impact on the state. In addition to that, I have streamlined our permitting process, which allowed a new company called Arliss, which is in a SCIF building in the Discovery District, to open its doors in half the time that the original project was able to get open, which means that we are actually delivering on our promise of streamlining and becoming more business friendly. But not just for big projects. I have a rapid response team that works with our small businesses. If your company is 5,000 square feet or less, then once your application accepted, we have a 10-day turnaround process. And right now, those permits are being issued in 6.3 days on average. So we are working hard and we're getting results. Thank you.
Testing. Once again, my name is Billy Bridges. This is not my first time running. I was a candidate in 18 as well as 22. If you go to the website, bridgesforus.org, you'll see that we've had a new Prince George's County plan. In that plan for development, it does not call for us waiting for business to come here or development. It calls for creating a Prince George's County Citizen Investment Bank, whereby for as little as $100, you all can invest in any business you want to bring here, whether it be housing situation, or whether it be fine dining, or whether it be restaurants, or whether it be high tech, anything that you want to build or see in this county, that's you. We have to stop thinking like consumers and start thinking like producers. When you do that, you create generational wealth, and we can all do better. That increases our economy, eventually lower our taxes because we're bringing in more revenues, and also a part of my plan, the county can use its current resources to actually refurbish items, sell items, recycle items, bring in additional revenues without hitting the taxpayers' pockets. If we can do those things, and again, think like producers, think about your wealth. Great to have the developers come in here, and they're still going to have a part, but we're not going to let them come in. They leave at will. We're going to come in with your own investments, and you're going to make sure that you're going to have something to leave work to your family when you leave, as well as live a productive, healthy life here in Prince George's County. Thank you.
It is time for financial healing. We have heard and have seen other enterprise come into our county, and we never feel those real effects. We're promised those effects, but we never feel them. MGM, we can start going down the list. The enterprise that I would like to bring in is an enterprise that you will help cultivate. This enterprise will put $500 into your home. This enterprise up to $6,000 a year in your household. For businesses and churches, it would put up to $800 in those businesses, which is $9,600 a year. And in our treasury, over $1 billion. I'm talking about an enterprise called cloud computing, decentralized, that is ready to come here and make us the first county ever to have our own cloud computing. Not data center, but a decentralized system. This puts us on the map. And this is what I've been working in the private sector, but I'm now ready to work for you, where you now see the benefits and stop hearing what will happen and what shall happen. It's time for financial healing. Thank you.
I mentioned my mom earlier. My parents owned the first black-owned business at Landover Mall. That business was Landover Liquors. Think about what the county council just did. They just put a discriminatory tax on those type of businesses. If that tax was in place when my parents had the business, I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't been able to build our own wealth years ago at Landover Mall. So I call on the county executive to please veto that bill, because it will go to court and will probably be struck down, number one. Number two, I'm the only one up here with a tech partnership. Right now, I have a technology partnership with Cisco. Cisco Systems is currently working in this county through a relationship with my business partner. This is going to be the most tech-enabled county in the country. Everybody talks about what they are going to do. We're doing it right now. We're currently working at Prince George's Community College with Cisco. We currently have opportunities with black-owned tech companies right now in Prince George's County that's working on intellectual property that have yet to go to market. Just think about that. Most businesses have started with $1,000. Imagine Cisco coming to buy that business for $5 to $10 million. Think about how many more investments you can make and build generational wealth. So it's one thing to talk about it. The other thing is about the Sphere. By the time the Sphere comes, Apple will have put out 4 new phones. Just think about that. 4 new phones by the time the Sphere comes to market. What are you going to do tomorrow to invest in business? What are you going to do the next day? Not 4 years from now. Thank you.
When you think about economic development, we have to be honest. I worked in the office of at-large Councilmember Mel Franklin, and he was prioritizing small businesses. Only 15% of the contracts go to minority-owned businesses. So first, we have to look there. And majority of our taxes, 70% is property taxes, residential. 30% is commercial. We need to be able to attract more commercial businesses to make sure that everybody property taxes does not continue to go up. So I'm looking forward to creating more incentives and being more business friendly. We also have a procurement office, but nobody really knows about it. I think you created SOAR. But what is a good use if nobody knows about it? We don't know how to get help. We have to make sure and ensure that everybody knows those resources are available to help us and they're delivering real results for us. Right now, we get a lot of promises every 4 years. I can tell you right now that I've been working since 2016 in this community, for this community, and by this community. I originally had my master's in public administration from Bowie State University. I'm a 2-time graduate from a HBCU, one of the first in Maryland. So I'm here to make a difference, make a change, and I'll continue to fight for Prince George's County and do what's right for our citizens. Thank you.
Economic development is extremely vital to Prince George's County right now. First of all, I said it during the special election, and I say it now. I would have fought to keep the commanders because they brought so much more to this community than just $2.8 million in property taxes. The problem was we didn't support the commanders and do the economic development to get the money and reap the benefits that we could have gotten had we built the hotels and brought in the services and entertainment to support the commanders. Let's talk about the Sphere. Here's the economic analysis. It's written in $2032, not $2026. And the way this country is going right now, the American dollar ain't gonna be worth $1.3 billion in 2032. So we're not gonna earn that money on the Sphere. And I need you all to understand your governor and your county executive have pledged your tax dollars to build that building, to save the owners of that building, because they're taking major losses in Las Vegas on the mega Sphere. So again, they're raping our tax dollars, putting them in somebody else's pocket to build a mega IMAX theater, because that's all they can do. Check out the YouTube video. It's published. So what am I going to do? Let's talk about bringing in manufacturing that pays our young people 6-figure jobs, that puts more money into our economy. Let's talk about, before we can get to economic development, improving our schools and our roads so that big business wants to come here. Because right now with our education and our transportation system, it ain't going to happen.
Okay. So I want to make something clear here. Ms. Braveboy asked to respond to the comments made by Ms. Sweat. The council here said that she cannot make a response, but I'm just being fair to her, the fact that she would like to respond to it, but she will not be able to, so I just want to explain that to you. I'm going to go quickly. There's a lot of questions here that I want to give to the attendees. And the next one is, we'll start off with Ms. Ferguson. What is your plan to bring restaurants, retail, and safe activities to all residents of all economic means in Prince George's County? And this is a question for all, but we'll start off with Ms. Ferguson.
So yes, for me, I plan, you can see that there's blighted investment, and the investment is not going across the county from North to South County. I would promise you that I can bring those quality development there by centering development around our transportation origins, like the harbor and the Purple Line that's coming. So I would like to incentivize those areas and make sure that they're not removing the community like gentrification, to make sure we have affordable housing and commercial housing there, and also quality jobs like tech and kind of bridging off to the healthcare field. So I want to do that by making sure that we have the correct incentives for those businesses to come in and fix that procurement process and economic development as a whole. So it just needs a whole revamp, if I'm being honest.
Ms. Sweat.
If I may ask, you said restaurants, there was something in the
Yes.
middle? and
What is your
safe
plan to
activities.
bring restaurants, retail, and safe activities to all residents of all economic means in Prince George's County?
Thank you, ma'am. The one thing I know is the major thing that has not changed is the African American community still has the largest spending power in this nation. We spend more money than anybody else in the country, but we're not getting what we deserve right here. And it's because you cannot recruit those businesses by going to a trade show. You've got to go to those businesses with your own prospectus and show them what your community has to offer and what they can bring and the benefits that are left on the table every single day. And I'm going to go back to it one more time. We got to fix our schools. We got to fix our roads, because nobody with a quality business wants to come in and have their trucks torn up and not have a workforce that they can hire from. Our babies need to know how to fill out a simple job application so that they can earn the dollars that we are putting on the table.
Mr. Holmes.
Well, we already have incentives, we already have incentives around our metros right now. So we have transit-oriented development, we have opportunity zones. What we lack is leadership. I can't bring Cisco in to speak to anyone in this county in government to talk about at the CEO level. They've asked, I can't find anyone for them to talk with, because we lack the leadership and the acumen from a business perspective to have high-level conversations. It's a fact. We've already asked, we were on a call today with Cisco and a large partner about investment in Prince George's County. So we have the tools in place, we have the incentives in place, we lack the leadership that can have a competent, grown-up professional conversation with business to come into Prince George's County. I'm a third generation here. This county was all white when my family's here. Now we run it, and we don't have the talent in our elected office to have that level of conversation. And we need to be serious about that, and we need to be honest about it. The moment we do, and the moment they see a change in leadership, you will see the activity happen. It's not just about roads, it's about, we can't afford the elected officials that we currently have. That's why you see all the musical chairs. They're looking out for themselves and never out for us.
Cruz, please.
We are one big family. Now think about your home. We're talking about development. We're talking about bringing in restaurants. At home, can you just go and just redo the dining room? Can you just go and redo bedrooms without money? So this is where I am. I'm laser focused on the economy. We can talk about all these I have a lot of great ideas to bring in restaurants, to bring in hotels, but if we do not have the money, we're going to find ourselves where we have been. This economy is not doing well, people. This is a passive economy. It's built on property tax and income tax. Go look. We have to bring in a new enterprise. And I need more time to explain what I'm saying, because I have something on the table right now that we can bring in that will bring in money now, not tomorrow, not in 6 months. If we don't get serious about our economy, we're going to find ourselves worse off in 4 years. Mark my words. Thank you.
Mr. Bridges?
Thank you. I like what Ms. Swift said about the spending power. Could we go back to what we're saying again? We cannot be in a position of waiting for businesses to come here or asking them to come here. When we do the investments like we need to and we build what we have to build, we invest what we have to invest in, they're going to see and they're going to want to come. So we're not going to be at the point of asking them to come here. And so therefore, with that spending power, rather than going and spend $500 on a pair of shoes or $1,000 on a purse, think about investing that money now in something else. And even when our children graduate from high school, those who are in vocational kind of skills, think about if you could take that money that you would have invested and let them start their own business or help them to start their own business. But from a county standpoint, our first thing is to create an Office of Suburban and Urban Planning. With that, we will work with the Prince George's County Citizen Investment Bank to determine what we need and where we need to have it. And when we do that, the money is there. You will see Prince George's County grow, because we're going to come back to that deal of being consumers again, of begging businesses to come here. We need to create your own. That's your generational wealth. We can bring in all kind of business thereafter, but for right now, we need to make sure that you own it. That's where your legacy is. Thank you.
Ms. Braveboy?
Thank you. Thank you. So let me just make sure that everyone understands where Prince George's County is positioned. We actually are the leaders in technology in this region. We are home of IonQ, which is the most advanced technology in the world. We are attracting businesses to the Discovery District in College Park that will support the continued growth and our recognition as the technology leader in this region. That's what Prince George's County is. Don't let anyone tell you that it isn't, because it's there now, not in the future, but right now. When it comes to restaurants and retail, I think that we have to have a two-pronged approach. Number one, we have the most talented chefs and clothing designers in Prince George's County that are Prince Georgians. We should invest in them, and that is what I'm doing by putting the Blue Line money into the minority developers who are building along Capitol Heights, along Addison Road, along Morgan Boulevard, which we will select a developer, and Largo. So we are assisting them so that they can attract those businesses that they want to attract. And we're going to build that market hall so that these small businesses have an opportunity to get their name out there, sell their products, and we invest in them. And very soon, we'll be talking about a couple of announcements of major restaurants that we're excited to bring to Prince George's County. But let me just say this, Prince George's County is where it's at. It's where it's at, and that's why we are growing. Thank you.
We're going to start this next question with Mr. Holmes. What is your position regarding the council's UNO bill? Am I saying that right? UNO bill that assigned a $5,000 annual fee to specific businesses.
Well, I'm a no to that, and I asked the county executive, please veto that bill. If that bill was in place when my parents had the liquor store at Land of them All, I wouldn't be standing here today. It disrupts generational wealth. I'm 56. My mom, I'm not going to tell her age back then, but she was young and in business, and imagine if that bill was in place, it would have killed my parents' business. I wouldn't be standing here today. So it's going to kill the businesses that are currently in this county, number one. Number two, how we say we open for business and we're taxing business at the same time. Yeah, we want you, but you get a tax. Who's picking winners and losers? That's not the role of this council, the county exec, or this government. If we're going to be open for business, we're open for every business, right? I shouldn't be able to dictate that you have a business, but yeah, I'm going to tax you, but I'm not going to tax you. Who has that level of authority? Nobody should, right? This is a capitalistic society, right? Winners and losers, we can't pick those winners and losers. So please, I ask you again for the third time, veto this bill so the message gets out to outside this county that we are open for business, not closed for business.
Mr. Bridges, would you like me to repeat the question?
Oh, no, we're good. I agree with Mr. Holmes there. Something like that, additional taxes, that dynamic is gone. Bond issues, taxes, those things are not right. Again, if we get back to building the wealth that we need, you're going to have more. So if there's a problem in the federal government or the state government where they have to increase something, they say because of whatever reason, you have resources now. But right now, it's like every time something goes wrong, we're jumping and we're screaming and people are in a panic. We need not to be in that servitude road anymore. We need to be producers. If you're producers, then you can take care of that. As far as itemizing taxes on different businesses, that doesn't make any sense. Once again, I know the government here hasn't been managed very well. Let's just face it, okay? There's an old saying out there that figures don't lie, but liars figure. So we have to understand the numbers can say certain things, but we got to make sure we're taking care of the people. And if you're all of my brothers and sisters, what color, weight, I don't care what you are, we need to take care of you. Live here. And the basics for everybody in this county, you want to live in a healthy, safe, well-educated, and healthy community. And that's what we need to work on. Thank you.
Ms. Ferguson?
Yes, I just want to say I also agree with them that UNO bill is a fine no. You're discouraging people from creating small businesses. I get what you're trying to do with the tobacco stores, the liquor stores, but that's not the proper way, and I think it's all out of emotion. You know, it's not really, if you're starting a business and it's small, you shouldn't be a hindrance. It shouldn't be, oh, well, you're a worker and I'm starting a business, so I got to get taxed. Nobody wants to come here. It's not saying we're open for business. It's just not the right way, and I hope you do veto it and make the correct call, because I think right now the council is kind of acting out of emotions, and it's not going to be effective in the long run, and other people are just going to take their business elsewhere, and we need find good quality businesses to come here, but that's not the proper way to do it.
Ms. Braveboy?
Thank you. You know, the council passed that bill by what's called a veto-proof majority. So even if I were to veto the bill, that bill would be overridden and we would still have that bill in effect. So here's what I suggest, because I think the issues that they are attempting to address are very real issues. There are too many vape shops in some parts of our county. We might not live in those areas, but for the people who do live in those areas, it's a burden on them. There are too many convenience stores, too many liquor stores in certain parts of our county that have created crime and blight for years in our community. And, you know, the self-storage units, I'm not sure why they focused on that one, but, you know, the truth is we need better economic development in Prince George's County. So we're going after those retailers and those industries that are attractive to who we are as Prince Georgians. We are smart. We have one of the highest income levels as well as educational levels anywhere in this country. Prince George's County is an attractive place to live and to do business. And we should attract the type of businesses that we want to go to. We have what's called retail leakage. We spend over $1 billion outside of Prince George's County because we don't have the quality that we deserve in the county. I am focused on making sure that we have those retailers and restaurants and stores that we deserve. Thank you.
Cruz?
Yeah, for me, it would be a no. We're not coming off as a community that is open for business at all. Right now, I am laser focused on our economy. I don't know if you all have looked at this, but our GDP, gross domestic product, okay, what is that? Business investment. Our businesses are not investing in Prince George's County. Most of them are investing in other counties. Even though we have over 18,000 citizens, you know, consumer spending, we're spending out of the county. We're having entertainment elsewhere. And then government spending. It's anemic. Look at the budget. My point here is this. Why would a data center come and want to spend $5 or $10 billion here? I want to show you something. Because each server makes over $4,500 a month. So if you put 10,000 or 12,000 servers in that data center, they are making their money back. And will we see that money? No. So that is why I'm proposing we create our own cloud computing center where we own it. And we can do that today. I already have the deal. We can do that today. Thank you.
Ms. Sweat?
The UNO bill is an example of the best intentions. You know what they say about those? The road to hell. We do that a lot in this county. Now, I understand from the council chair that the bill was passed so that we would have money to give mothers or parents vouchers for childcare. Well, we created the problem from the jump. So no, we shouldn't be adding a $5,000 additional tax on certain businesses. And I'm gonna tell you, it ain't gonna pass because they're gonna sue. And when you look at the faces of those business owners, discrimination is the word that comes to mind. It'll never be put into place because most of those business owners are immigrants. Not good. We come up with great ideas, but we don't think them through very well. First off, we would have money to give vouchers to moms and dads who need assistance with childcare if we invested in social services and family services. But we don't, because we have too much debt on the books, and we're taxing us to pay that debt. So we can't even take care of us with the taxes that we pay in the county. We got to correct that, one, by stop listening to people who are not thinking about our best interest, but they're only asking us to invest our money to pad their pockets and the pockets of our elected officials when you look at their campaign finance reports to keep them in office.
All right, so you guys mentioned this before, and I'm just going to start with, I will start with Mr. Holmes for this one. Will you commit to not allowing Prince George's County to be an ICE camp or a data center location? If yes, how? 3 permits, zoning, and regulations.
Yeah, no data centers for me, especially the hyperscale. Our council and county exec, they ruined that from a branding perspective. So now the community has stood up, and so that's off the table right now, which is a good thing. Thank you. And then as far as ICE and detention, I think the sheriffs and the state's attorneys talked about it earlier, that when the governor signed that bill, literally took that off the table, so there's no cooperation there. But I think this is reactive, though, because this was started back in 2025, and we just now getting to it in this county. That tells me we've lacked the leadership this whole time. And so now when it comes to our door, now we want to act. But leadership isn't about waiting. It's about being out in front. It's about leading the charge and being the model. And I can't say that for this current government and where we currently sit. So no on data center, especially the hyperscale, but we really have to keep our eyes focused on what's the next thing, because with this president, the next thing is coming.
Ms. Braveboy.
So I signed an executive order declaring that all county buildings were safe places, and I put signs in our county buildings, our parking lots and garages, letting everyone know that our residents, no matter what, whether or not they are here documented or not, they are welcomed in Prince George's County, and they're welcome in county buildings, and they will be free from any type of ICE enforcement when they're on county property. In addition to that, I signed a moratorium on data centers. That issue is one that the community has to be a part of those conversations. I don't believe that data centers should be in residential areas at all. So the Landover project was doomed from the start because it was across the street from residential units. And so we have to, as a county, if we're going to consider any type of economic development, we have to have a conversation with our community, and then we have to design our zoning laws that will comport with what our community expects from us. So those are my positions with respect to data centers. And again, I signed the executive order, so I'm on the record with my opposition, especially to Landover. Thank you.
Ms. Sweat.
In 2 words, no and no. I told you back in March of last year why I opposed data centers, and that hadn't changed. For too long, Prince George's County has voluntarily been the dump for the mid-Atlantic region of the East Coast of the United States. No more environmental toxins in our front yard, in our backyard, or on our side of the house. No, no, and no. I don't care what size it is. And oh, by the way, they ain't gonna make us no money because the state and the county gave them a tax exemption. So that's a waste of my time. ICE camps, again, that's another no. Immigration is a federal problem. The federal government needs to fix that problem. And while I support not working with ICE to take innocent people into custody for no reason at all, I also support not building facilities that will be concentration and detention camps. Because I want y'all to think about something. If they're coming for the Hispanics, how long before they come for the Africans? And how long before they come for the African Americans? Not on my watch.
Mr. Bridges.
First of all, after working in law enforcement, I can tell you that what we're seeing in ICE right now, those are not police officers. Those are thugs and, with badges, okay? So, of course, I would not cooperate with them in that sense. Now, if we have criminal immigrants here from, let's say, MS-13 or whatever, yes, I will call them to come and pick them up, but I will not have them going into schools and going to other locations, churches or whatever, trying to serve civil orders and so forth. Data centers, I'm a big no on that also. I live in South County, and I know it seems like everything's been dumped on that end now. So regardless of even saying bringing citizens in, it's not a good idea because wherever you put them, they are going to create the noise we know about. We know the water issues, we know the electricity issue, and we know that the health issues involved with that also. So that's a no-brainer. We're just going to data centers tell no. And once again, I get back to our own development. Quit looking for people to come in here to bring business and bring in jobs and so forth. Create your own. Thank you.
Ms. Ferguson?
Yes, I can say when I'm your next county executive, Prince George's County will be declared a safe space. I can't promise you that. And as far as data centers, it's a no for me, and we have to figure out why is it only in the black and brown areas. I sat on the environmental injustice for the state conference, the panel of the NAACP, where we talked about environmental justice and environmental racism. So it's a huge no for me. And also we can be promised this revenue stream, but like with the MGM, where's the revenue? Do you see the revenue? Because I don't. We have to be honest about this. A data center is a huge no, and we have to figure out the land oversight is no, and it needs to be rezoned because that's in part of the black and brown community. Prince George's County has to be more than just a dumping ground. We have to set the standard, and we have to create leadership that can create the vision so Prince George's County can be more successful. Thank you.
Mr. Cruz.
I'm with everyone else, no and no. But data centers, why don't we want them? Because of the environmental issues, from water to utilities going up, to the CO2 emissions. But I just want to keep it really real with everyone. We have to bring something in. We have to bring new revenue. And I just happen to be in the field where you can make the money. And I'm going to keep banging this issue. How many people want $500 a month? How many businesses want $800 a month? Or $1,600 a month? We can do this tomorrow. Now, business-wise, and I'm keeping this real, we're already doing it. It's already happening. I just think as a government, we can now become self-sufficient. We won't need the federal dollars or have to go beg the state for money. We have all the intellectual capital right here for us to build on, and now we can get on with the business of building commerce, walkable hub communities in all 27 municipalities. I believe that we can do this on our own, but we have to come together and do it together. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so this next question is like two people asked about it. It has to do with voting rights. The Supreme Court gutted Voter Rights Act. How are you addressing our Voter Rights Act? Another one kind of asked, said our voting rights in the county is in jeopardy. So let's start off with Ms. Sweat at the end and go all the way down.
I love this question. because we think we're safe in Prince George's County and Maryland when it comes to voting rights because we're majority Democratic state and county. But do you understand that we disenfranchise people by our policies in Prince George's County every single day? The state of Maryland does not allow independents to participate in a primary. Hence, I got to get signatures on a petition. We've disenfranchised people. We need to have open primaries, and we can do that with ranked choice voting. But Prince George's County doesn't want to lead the effort to do that because then it opens up the door for you to vote across party lines and pick people that they may not want you to pick to be in office. Secondly, the other problem we have in Prince George's County is we use our paid employees to campaign for our elected officials. So now we disenfranchise our county employees by making them work for whoever's in power. Yes, I've had county employees tell me they want to sign my petition, but they can't because they work in the government and they don't want to lose their jobs. And I thank them and wish them well and let them know that in my administration, that ain't gonna happen. Because you see, I grew up under the Hatch Act. And if we can impose that right here in Prince George's County, I said bring it on. Because everybody needs the right to vote for who they want to vote for, no matter who's in power.
Thank you. Ms. Ferguson.
So yes, when it comes to voting rights, I promise you guys that I will fight to protect your rights. I've been a fighter since 2016 when I was with the NAACP. I served on the National Board of Directors, and I will ensure you that I will work hard every day to protect your right. And also, somebody has been tearing down my signs, but that's not going to stop me. I'm still determined to be your next county executive, and I feel like guaranteed I will fight every day to protect your right to vote and to make sure that everybody has a fair shot at competing to be county executive or whatever elected office, and make sure we instill fairness and equality of life in education, and making sure that we have the right necessary tools and resources to thrive in Prince George's County.
Yeah, I agree with what Tanya was saying. I mean, we need to have open primaries. I mean, if we're going to be a democratic society, we need to be a democratic society the whole time, not just when it's convenient. I mean, when I thought about what the Supreme Court did, and I mentioned earlier what's coming next, right, with President Trump. This is the next. It's to strip away the foundation of our democracy, which is why this time we need leadership. We can't sit back and just look at special elections, and the musical chairs that have been played in our county has just been despicable, to be quite honest with you. That's taken our vote away. So, yeah, what the Supreme Court did was challenging, but what we're doing in our own community needs to stop as well. All politics is local, right? And so the musical chairs and the position and the selfishness that I've seen over the last year, and I have over 50, 60-year history in this county, has been disgusting, to be quite honest with you, because they're thinking about themselves, not about the people in this county. So yes, we have our challenges with the Supreme Court, but these challenges are right on our doorstep in this county. And if we don't have new leadership that steps up, we're going to continue to have more of the same and get nothing for it. Thank you.
I actually have a problem with what the Supreme Court is doing. You see, 1964 and 1965, Congress passed civil rights and then the Voting Rights Act. Congress enacted that. I seem to remember a time when Republicans were saying we don't want judges who are activists. Right now, we have a Supreme Court who are activists. They're overturning things in this country, and we're quiet about it. This is something that Congress should have taken up. Our party in Congress should be speaking much louder than what they're doing right now. A lot of these issues that we're talking about, especially with the Voting Rights Act, there's not much we can do on this level. We can make noise and we can go out and vote, which we should, but we need to start electing leaders who are going to have backbone and speak truth to power. So that's my issue with what's going on in this country. Thank you.
I heard a wise man once said that a person who lives in the past has no future, but a person who ignores the past is doomed to repeat it. I was born and raised in Mississippi, right in the middle of the civil rights struggle and so forth. I don't mind sharing my age there. And I remember I don't remember them per se in person, but I remember what they were doing. Miss Fannie Lou Hamer and Medgar Evers, I remember what they were doing. That still burns inside of me. So I shared with some of the gentlemen the other day, I'm a one-term candidate if elected. I only want 4 years to lay the foundation, get our citizens involved in government. I'm not about jumping seats. I'm not about being a career politician. We just need to get done right now. So if we don't get our citizens and young people in particular understanding voting rights, what that really means, and if you let it go, it's going to go even further.
So I received my law degree from Howard University School of Law, which you know, which really is the greatest civil rights institution in America. And the issues that I'm seeing now, not just with the Voting Rights Act, but really the rolling back of all rights for citizens and residents here in America, it is really, it's heartbreaking. We have come so far. And the truth is that our democracy is very fragile. And so we have to be smart. We have to be strong. We have to speak truth to power, and we have to stand up. We have to understand what we can do from our vantage point. And as your county executive, I will work with our members of Congress, not just here locally, but all across this country. Because what happens in Texas impacts us. What happens in Virginia impacts us. What happens in the Midwest impacts us. When we elect people who are hyper-partisan in these areas, who don't care about humanity, they just care about winning, they just care about keeping a certain structure, economic structure in this country, then that impacts all of us. And so we have to be more global in our thinking, and we have to participate in these national elections. I have called different states to support candidates who I knew would have the back of Prince George's County and our values. We need to continue to look at ourselves as Prince George's County as the example of what is possible. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the forum, so now they each will have 60 seconds to say their closing remarks. We will start with Ms. Sweat, and we will end with Ms. Aisha Braveboy.
Thank you. I'm at home tonight for a whole host of reasons. First, I was born and raised AME. My mom's an AME minister in the 7th Episcopal District. Number 2, I'm a life member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Number 3, member of the NAACP. Number 4, life member of the South County Economic Development Association. And no, they didn't do this just for me. They did it for y'all. But it's great to be here with you. Again, I'm asking for your permission to be on the ballot because it's about our children. We got to fix our education. We got to give them recreation and stop calling them menaces and putting them on curfews. We got to fix our community. That's everybody sitting in this room. Whether you're a homeowner, a renter, a driver, a walker, we got to deal with it. And then we got to do it with competence. Because I believe the leaders that we have right now started off with the best of intentions, but they've gone astray.
Thank you so
much. And so
much,
we got to
Ms.
do
Sweat.
this right.
Ms. Ferguson?
Let me start by saying this. Change is not just is not power, but it's really necessary in this moment in time. We need change. We need to deliver real results for our residents. And there's a lot of things that need to be improved, like our 311 services. And I promise you, every day I will work to be your next county executive. I'm the only one up here that's actually done the work. I served in the office of at-large Councilmember Franklin. I was his director of constituent services. I just didn't sit pretty behind a desk. I am at heart a real activist. So I get, and I'm definitely grassroots. I served at every level of the board of directors of the NAACP. I've been on Capitol Hill. I've represented with Congressman John Conyers of Michigan, who's a true civil rights pioneer, and I'm about delivering real results, and I promise you, when I'm elected to be your next county executive, you will see real change and real results. Thank you.
Mr. Holmes.
I'm Greg Holmes, your next county executive. I'm running to bring a new standard of leadership to Prince George's County, one that's competent, one that's transparent, and one that performs. I'm the only candidate up here that have put a ballot initiative on the ballot to create an independent office of the Inspector General. Just think about that. Hearing from residents like you want accountability, you want transparency, and you want to know that your government's going to show up when it needs most. Not just in snowstorms, when it's ice, hanging out in hotels. That's not what we want. Not in this county. This is my county. That's my family, that's my wife, this is my county. What goes on in this county, I own it, and I'm responsible for it. So moving forward, we can't allow this foolishness to happen anymore in this county. It's keeping off investment, it's keeping off respect. Just think about it. 2 weeks ago, our EDC president and our president of Park and Planning went to Frederick for a visit. But who's coming to this county for a visit? Who around this state of Maryland as a county is coming here looking at what's going on in Prince George's County? The greatest form of flattery is imitation.
So very much.
And no one's imitating Prince George's County.
Mr. Cruz.
It's 6:30 a.m. and there's a family that's running out of time to save their home. There's a father who's helping his 2 daughters get ready for school. His wife has already left for work because she had to take a job outside the county to make ends meet. As he's about to walk out the door, their eldest son asks a simple question. Dad, when is your store going to open? He pauses because, you see, he started the process 6 months ago. He has no answers. It hasn't been approved. And so as he steps outside, he sees that pothole. And then he remembers that there was supposed to be retail and a grocery store coming near his development. As he drops off his kids, he realized that the school that they're attending is still rated at the bottom, but his taxes are high. You see, he loves his county, he loves his home, but the county's not listening to him, and he's about to lose his home.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. I appreciate you. Thank you. Mr. Bridges.
Thank you all again for coming out tonight. When I came to this area about 31 years ago from Japan, 300th Air Force Base, I heard great things about Prince George's County, and I was looking forward to those great things. But when I arrived, I realized something is wrong. It's like people had forgotten about Booker T. Washington's economic empowerment or Dr. Du Bois' Talented 10, bringing others forward. But my rebuke doesn't mean anything. But the Lord God looks down on what's happening. We're treating our brothers and sisters in the wrong fashion, and it keeps going on and on. Many of you in this room are HBCU graduates like me. We know what our responsibility is. So I ask you, reach out, because in this room, there are enough people with your contacts to win this election. So I ask you, just think about, where do you want to go? What do you want your family to have going forward? If you want to live in a county that's healthy, safe, well-educated, and wealthy, then vote Billy Bridges for Prince George's County Executive. Thank you.
Ms. Brayboy.
Thank you. Thank you. So tonight you've heard a lot of doom and gloom for Prince George's County, but that's not the reality. The reality is Prince George's County is on the rise. We have closed our structural deficit. We are attracting the most attractive assets in the country, like IonQ in our Discovery District, like Sphere, and, oh, by the way, Kevin Durant, a native son of Prince George's County, has decided that he too wants to invest back in the county that he grew up in. So you see, I understand what's actually happening because I don't get to just say things. I have to prove and give you results. Let me tell you about those results. I led the state in the reduction of teacher vacancies. Prince George's County led the state in the reduction of teacher vacancies. Prince George's County has reduced crime to record lows. Last year was record lows, again this year record lows. That's because we are working together. This is a county on the move. Please continue to join me. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Please take a second and applaud this board. It is not easy giving your answer in 60 seconds. They did a wonderful job. Please, let's applaud. And remember to vote. We're not done. I'd like Ms. Renee Banks to please come giving closing remarks. Do not forget, vote, vote, vote. Let your voice be heard.
Good evening. Well, we've heard a lot tonight, haven't we? First, I'd like to thank our esteemed panel of candidates here. We appreciate your time and your commitment to our community to make it better for all of us. I'd like to thank Greater Mount Nebo Church for offering this space for all of us to hear and to learn, and actually to get our passports stamped. And that was our theme tonight. And we've gone on a journey to learn what's happening in Prince George's County, what's going to happen, and what needs to happen. So I thank all of you, the citizens, for being here and supporting our effort. We look forward to other times that we can come together and talk about the betterment and the growth of Prince George's County, which means a lot to all of us. So I charge you to go out. You've got your stamp. You've got your passport stamped. So that's your ticket. You've got some information. Now go out and vote. Thank you so much for spending time with us this evening. Get home safe.